Hello, hello. Hey, Naldiref. How's the Pokemon? Almost done. 115 out of 116, and now I'm focusing on other to-dos before I pull the trigger on everything. So let's go do some of this work. Yeah, and I kind of left behind. I left it behind on purpose. It's just option. So I like the option element, so it's not too complicated. It's not too boring, but it's also not too complicated. But I'm leaving it for last on purpose because first I want to go through all the other to dos. So I think I want to do some auto formatter work. So here's what I'm gonna do: auto formatting work today. Okay, so yeah, let's look into this. I think I'll do this first, this second, and then third the CSS JS stuff. I think so. Okay, problem statement. It feels so weird not to have to mess around with the HTML spec anymore. In any case, problem statement. This is not great. Look at this. Look at this auto formatting, because this is assuming that I have more than one attribute. And so, oh shit, it's also fucking up void elements royally. Really? So with this one, it goes fine. With this guy, it does not go fine. Well, shit. And I know why, because we're missing. Yeah, actually, you know what? No, I don't know why. We're missing something. Okay, something is going out of whack in the algorithm, more like 100%. So let's go fix this stuff. So point number one. Where do we detect if we are doing vertical or not? Hey, Blurry Cat. Hello, hello. Hey, Blurry Cat. Thank you. Yeah, I'm finally done with, well, almost done with the HTML spec. Only one element remaining, which I left there on purpose. Next is going to be doing all these other stuff. I'm doing formatting right now. Right now, I'm focusing on formatting. And then I'm going to do the last element for last, and then we can push this stuff finally, taking forever. Okay, so maybe white space. Last right bracket. Okay, so this is not for attributes. So somewhere else is the code for attribute rendering, which I guess is in element, right? Yep. Here we have the we are retokenizing this element. Here we go. Here we are detecting if there is white space there. But then we have to do this. We need to know that there is more than one attribute. So if there are 0 attributes or 0 or 1 attribute, well, so less than 2 attributes, then we just don't do it. So that's what we're missing. So here we're doing tt.next. Okay, let's see how this goes. Well, fuck. It's not doing great. Oh. No, I need something better. I need formatting log. There's way too much spam otherwise. Although, you know what? We could simplify this. Element D vertical true. Well, fuck. Oh, that's on me. That is on me. We need to give it a limited slice. There we go. Oh, shit. Why does it do this now? Does that thing not yield attributes one after the other? No, because it's not a start tag iterator. It's a normal tokenizer. Oh, shit. Hmm. 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 This is a normal tokenizer. Why are we using a normal tokenizer here? Why are we not using a start tag iterator? Question. Let's see what use we do of it. Yeah, you know what? Maybe utter. The fuck? And if it's not an utter, then what do we do with it? God, unexpected tag name. This needs to be okay. So I guess this is from before I invented start tag iterator. We need to use that. There's no point in doing anything different. Start tag iterator. STI. Let's see. Current dot start tag iterator. Source and HTML. Oh, we do have language, so let's pass down language. AST.language. Okay. Hello, Gizo. Can check your brain to look at a small PR, fix an annoying bug in Zig fetch. Oh god. I can take a look, but let me take a look. But I don't know what I will be able to help you with right now. 24.19.7. And notable with dot as root module. Wait, Zig fetch dot? What? Huh? Yeah, thank you. Last dot is not part of the command. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. Zig fetch. I modify the fetch rule to strip root. They're equal to dot. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am not up to speed enough with what does it mean for a tarball to have root there, like to start with a dot. I mean, I guess I have the general understanding. I get it. You created it, and when you created it, you gave it a dot path. Yeah, but yeah, check on the tarball if there is a ./file txt in it. Yeah, it only handles file.txt. Yeah, I get the general problem. I'm not familiar though with how tarballs work specifically, and I don't know. Like, I guess the question is this like a bad tarball that you shouldn't have created in the first place? Maybe not. Maybe my point is just that I'm sorry. Like, I can't press the merge button because I don't have enough confidence in my understanding of these problems. The fact that it's a very small PR with just 2 lines changed, I think means that it will be merged sooner than later. Yeah, but you need to have some patience. Yeah, sorry. Right now, I'm 100% in HTML land, and the only thing I can think of is HTML elements. But I mean, it seems it's a 2-line change. It seems very straightforward. So if it's do you know someone to tag? Sure, but the problem is that there's a ton of PRs like yours which are like, perfectly reasonable to merge, that are there waiting for somebody to give them attention. The problem is that right now everything is, the core team is busy working on other stuff. So let me put it this way. Now that I know about it, I'll try to bring it up if I happen to be in a conversation with, for example, with MLog. But you need to be aware that right now there's plenty of PRs that are like perfectly reasonable, that are just queued up because there isn't enough capacity to work on that. So my recommendation is this: unblock yourself. You can unblock yourself if you learn how to build Zig. You can unblock yourself. Actually, wait, this is even standard library, isn't it? So this isn't even source of the compiler. No, it is source of the compiler. Never mind. So you need to rebuild Zig. But if you do rebuild Zig, then you unblock yourself, right? So you can keep moving forward. This will eventually be merged, but in the meantime, you don't have to wait. So this is my this is an actually useful recommendation, because you already can do this. And I don't know you specifically, but in general, you do that also with Zig packages, right? There's a Zig, somebody else's package is not updated to the latest Zig, or there's a bug, and yeah, you can send them a PR, and maybe the PR, is very reasonable to merge, but they're busy with life, or whatever reason. Super HTML right now has a bunch of things that would be very easy to PR, but I asked people, whenever somebody brought it up, I asked them to please not PR anything right now, because I'm about to push like a ton of changes. So every PR that gets sent right now, it's gonna conflict, and might even be a PR that fixes a bug in old code that I completely deleted in the meantime. So because of these reasons, everybody who wants to contribute to Super HTML has to wait. But at the same time, they can unblock themselves if they want to. So I would recommend you get ready to unblock yourself also with Zig itself. I was trying to make a build of Zig for another project, and I need to download some tumbles containing artifacts, but Zig chokes on it. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But you can build a copy of Zig with this patch in it, all right? So consider doing that. In the meantime, be patient. The bug will be fixed. But there's a very long list of bugs that need fixing. There's also bugs with the HTTP client, apparently. Some of the new I/O stuff has broken TLS in some cases, as in you get like wrong data. So that's another important one, but it's also another one that's on the list. So yeah, please be patient. It will make the build of Zig very useful for others. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Okay. Then you're already on a good path. In any case, I will bring this up. So, but to answer your question, who can you ping? Yeah, you can ping, technically you can ping anybody in the core team, but be aware that your, yeah, I know. It's tough also. I know, it's tough in general. Look, I right now am not really in a position where I can merge these PRs knowing that I'm merging good code, but I do plan sooner or later to also help with this effort. It's just that right now I'm in the middle of this Super HTML thing, and I got so far. I need to push it out. I need to get it to completion. But it is what it is. Have some patience. It's coming. It just takes a little bit of time. Okay. What was I saying? So yeah, I was changing the iterator with the new abstraction. Also, I'm checking the name of this guy, and I'm checking it like this, but I don't have to because PRE is a tag. So sti.kind is .pre, sorry, not current. Thank you. Yeah, gotta push it out. Hey, Neurosite. Okay. And this is not a maybe utter. This is just an utter. Okay. I've been working with the developer of RAMDL. Wait, what's RAMDL? To get the LSP support better for Helix and NeoVim users. RAMDL? The heck? A markdown linter written in Rust. Interesting. Nice. I was actually wondering why there is no markdown LSP usually. That's cool. I think that Markdown has, unfortunately, the problem Master replacement for markdown lint. And MD format, I see. I do think that, unfortunately, the fact that markdown doesn't really have syntax errors much kind of detracts away. Although the linter doesn't have to be, the linter could mark suspicious syntax as suspicious regardless. And so, yeah. But they don't do linter format. What the heck do they do? Okay. the cast and stuff. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we broke anything. We fixed it. So we fixed it. Okay. Now let's do void elements. Link. So what is this shit? What is this shit? We are doing something really dumb for void elements here. And it's around here, right? So there's a path where we decide if something is void or we don't. And that, I don't know, fucks everything up. Ah, there we go. If is void or self-closing. If current kind is void. BLK1. But that's not true. Okay, let's kill this line. Let's see what happens. Better. But it's missing one indentation level. Oh, I think I understand what the problem is. Basically, we didn't increase indentation because we're in a void element, I think. And so we're off by 1. And the problem is that we can't do this. We can't increase it more than 1 because we don't have an exit event for void elements. So I would say this. Ah, shit. That means that we can't incast. Man, Ziggy is like making it so annoying to do this stuff. Oh, but I still have this problem. Okay, so take this out. Take this out. There we go. But we also do wrong this thing here. There we go. We now have correct indentation of void elements. So this seems fine. So this is done. The next question was using tabs for indentation. So people in chat, you now have the privilege, in air quotes, of shaping the future of Super HTML. What do you think about using tabs for indentation instead of using spaces? Zig is death to all tabs. So Zig is extremely against tabs. But for HTML, so here's the thing. I don't want to add a config flag to have indentation happen. I don't want people to have a config file where they decide how much to indent. I think that's shit. I want one indentation for everybody. But I think it's fair for people to have different preferences, whether they want to have 2 spaces, 3 spaces, 4 spaces. I don't know, clowns that like 8 spaces. That's also sometimes happens, I guess. But if you use tabs, then you can configure your editor to, you know, have the tabs be as wide as you want them to be. You have to mix tabs with spaces to align. Correct. It would be tabs for indentation, spaces for alignment. One thing that I hate more is mixing both of them. Why? I mean, if they're mixed in a weird way, but it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't even really matter, right? For you, because like you put tabs, you put spaces, you put whatever the heck you want, right? As you're typing, and then you just format and it normalizes. Wow, people are really against this. That I find this really surprising. Somebody afterwards opening without super HTML and everything goes to shit. True, but even look, if you edit HTML without super HTML open, everything goes to shit regardless because you don't know HTML, your editor doesn't tell you, you're on your own. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting seeing so much hatred for tabs. If you don't want your own config option, read editor config. Is this, well, the thing is, okay, for the LSP that works, but then there's also the CLI tool. And I would like all these things to basically do the same thing, no matter what, and not have any config. You know what? I would like to experiment with tabs. I would like to try it out and see how it is. And it's not too complicated, right? Actually, like it's not too big of a change, I think, because all we have to do is every time we reference indentation in a print, we just print a tab instead of printing 2 spaces. And and if we don't like it, then it doesn't take much to go back. For example, here that becomes a /t. Oh, there we go. This is going to be more interesting because now we need to split the indentation and alignment. So for 0 to indentation /t, and for 0 to extra, we print a space. But this fucks back. So this fucks back again void elements because void elements are missing something. So we need to do this basically. Also doc type. That's so weird. Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh my god, look at these chunky boys. Also, wait, this is wrong. I did all this extra work. But this is actually wrong. Because look at this. We actually we wouldn't want to have this tab here, would we? This should be all spaces. Let me open a real HTML file just out of curiosity and see what happens in there. Okay. Invalid nesting under style. So we're discovering, I think, some problems that we have. One is that we gave style a nothing content model, but in reality, style accepts text. Okay. One problem solved. Another one, we're missing all the ARIA attributes. So we're getting complaints for those. We also are getting, so by the way, this is cool. We're seeing all the error checking in action, except then we're also seeing all the fucky stuff that we have, because you see how we have our URL parsing doesn't recognize just fragments, and we have a ton of those in this file, so that's causing a ton of errors. So let's auto format this. Let's see what happens. Nothing happened. I think that nothing happened because we have some error that is considered a syntax error, I think. Invalid utter value. Have a ton of invalid utter value, but we might have also something else. Jesus. Invalid nesting. Utter value, invalid nesting. Oh shit. I think that this invalid nesting is correct. Oh man, Andrew's gonna be so, I don't know. Happy is probably not the right word to describe his feelings once he sees all this invalid nesting. Assuming that it's not wrong, some of those might be false positives. Because one thing that I noticed is that I sometimes forgot to set up text correctly, like so allowing text in places. Wait, oh no, wait a second. We did get the auto formatting. Look, we have tabs. That's definitely not how it was originally. So that's cool. Oh, and I guess this is a weird side effect. I want to see this. Oh, this was like this originally still. Okay, so okay, even our thing didn't change anything there. Also because I'm guessing these are, yeah, right, these are PRE contents, so they're all fucked up for their own reasons. Okay. Well, okay, you know what? Not bad. Obviously, we want to get rid of these errors. That's a to do. But so far, tabs doesn't seem to be causing any big problem. As you can see, everything looks the same, and then somebody can configure this stuff if they want to. Let's see what people are saying. Oh, editor config is a thing. It's a standardized thing. Cool. Okay. Okay. So far so good, I would say. Let's leave it as a done thing. Except that I think I was saying that I messed up void elements, so we need to think more about those. And now that I think about it, it's so let me double check one thing. Yeah, you see how there's a tab in there? There shouldn't be a tab. There should not be a tab. So this is a problem. It happens also to align everything correctly, but this is bad. So here's the problem. It's not that we need to increase indentation when it's void. We need to decrease indentation when it is not void. Because when it is not void, then we did indentation. So okay, let's do it this way. Let me think about it for a second. Okay, here's how we do it. We need a separate indentation variable only for attributes, basically. I guess we can define it here. Utter indent. Let's see. It's indentation minus without is. Okay, I think this should be it. Okay, and extra now has to be named len plus 2 always. Diamond bracket, 1 space. There we go. Now this is all spaces. This is tab, but then it's all spaces, and we didn't break anything. Okay, so now the logic is correct. We're using tabs for indentation, spaces for alignment, as God intended, or something. Okay. Next, what do we do next? Next, formatting for CSS and JavaScript. Yes. So let's look at this stuff. So I don't know, like what is it? Div, and then well, already this thing doesn't suggest good indentation. It's all fucked up in so many ways. So you see how we don't do indentation, because we don't parse CSS right now. So we could parse CSS, but before we get there, which I'm not going to do now, we have a CSS parser that was contributed. We just need to wire it in, but also I never really looked into it. So what I want to do is have an intermediate step where I think we should apply the Go philosophy to this, which is line that ends with a curly brace increases indentation. Line that ends with a closing curly brace decreases indentation. Although, what about this then? What about this thing? We also need to recognize this thing and not do dumb stuff with that. I guess we can do line that contains an opening curly, increases indentation anywhere. Line that ends with a closing curly decreases indentation. And so that way these two guys cancel out. Let's start working on this. So we are doing, we are rendering text. I guess we can do it here. Opening curly, increasing increments, closing curly decrements. An alternative could be that every time we encounter a opening curly, we force a new line there. But then we would need to also recognize curlies that are inside comments. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking comments, man. These file formats. Yeah, these things are annoying. Do we not have ends with scalar? No, that's fine. Nah, I think somebody forgot new lines. That would be me. I mean, that looks like correct CSS to me. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know what you guys are talking about, honestly. So why inheriting indentation is a problem? I don't get it. What is Flow? It's Neurosite's text editor. So what am I doing wrong here? Start with the original indentation, which apparently is in a fucked up state for some reason. For some reason, it is in a completely fucked up state or something. Oh, no, I think I understand what's going on. The first line, we already indented. Like, the first line is already indented. That's the problem. That is the problem. Aha. The first line is already indented. That's bad. Why is it already indented, man? Why are you like this? Well, I guess that means that we do print the line and then we add the indentation afterwards, and that should fix it, I guess. Or delay the problem. Okay, so we got some of that now. So this is now correct. This is not so correct. This is correct. Oh, this needs to go here. Okay, I think we're making progress now. I think we have it almost, because the closing curly. Okay, it needs to be like this. Print the line. Print this, increase indentation. Decrease indentation. Is it like this? Not quite, huh? Okay, so the problem is this. In this case, if the line ends with a curly... Wait, why isn't this already enough? I'm confused. why is this not? We print this plus a new line. Then we need to decide to print the indentation. Oh, is it because this does not happen? Are we saying that this line does not end with a curly? But it does. No, the line should not end with a new line because I trim it. I trim all white space from it. And also we do correctly recognize that an opening curly should increase indentation. Or at least I thought we did. Yosevka? What's your Yosevka? Best font ever made. I see. We need a print. Increase, decrease, decrease. Increase, decrease. Oh, right. Right. So here's the problem. Right. The problem is that when we check this, we have already printed it. Right. We have already printed it, while we need to decrement before we print it. But the problem is that the indentation was already decided. So this indentation system is inherently incompatible with what we're trying to do. You cannot print indentation after the fact. You have to print indentation before printing the thing. And the fact that we already have some indentation for the first line, it's really fucking annoying, man. Like really, really, really annoying. But I guess we can do it manually. So like before we enter the loop, we do it once, I guess. Or we can put a check in the for loop. That sucks, but yeah. Jesus. Okay, and then there's also the keys. Okay. You know what? I'm fine with this being a little bit junky because it's temporary anyway. Okay, this is almost correct. There we go. We now have reasonable stuff. Better than nothing. Clearly not great, but better than nothing. Now for JavaScript, this is another problem because for JavaScript we kind of like the same service, but then again, it's much. This is janky, and it's much more likely that we're going to break JavaScript if we do this kind of stuff to it. Although to be fair, you know what we can do? We can decrease indentation only if the line is a curly. That's actually not a bad idea. So instead of doing this, yeah, if the line is that with the indent, that's actually not bad. That is actually not bad. Okay. We can now apply this same logic to JavaScript. Also, what about empty lines? What happens to empty lines? Interesting. How are we keeping that? Oh, I know why. Okay. That's fine. So guess what? Now we can do this for style and script. Boom. We have this. It's shitty, but it's better than nothing. So with this, we should have completed the formatting work that I wanted to do. So this is done. I think the next thing that I want to do is this one is good. Let's move it up top because we want to do it soon for sure. I want to investigate this and I think I want to do GitHub stuff. And then I want to start filing these things. Although maybe filing should wait for us to publish first. So you know what? Let's wait a little bit more. That means that then we need to do this. I think the order is going to be this. We do this stuff. Then we do this. Then we do this. Maybe we can put this above because it's easier. Then these are all GitHub things that we need to file. We need to do some fuzzing also. Like, it sucks that we don't have any fuzzing at that we don't have good fuzzing available, but I guess bad fuzzing is better than no fuzzing. An attempt to document font rendering clarity in common font engines in common terminals without resorting to boring screenshots. Okay. Kids these days use font sizes that are too small historically. Okay. Wow. How about platform browser Outlook Express specific comments? Outlook Express? No, comments are not stripped. Like, if you mean if you mean like the problem is not, they don't get stripped. The problem is that we don't recognize them as special things, and we should. But right now we don't have proper CSS parsing, so we don't recognize them as special thingies. I feel like we're not doing great. Why is there a space in here? Invalid nesting under script. Oh, why is it not respecting the new line? It's because we were turning it into a single chunk of text. But we can deal with this. Instead of tokenize, we do split. Hmm. Okay, I would say that this is decent. Oh shit! I wish we didn't have this. Okay. Okay, this is not bad. This is not bad. So we have these good errors for the CLI interface. So look at these delightful errors that we have here, right? It would be nice also to be able to access them from the CLI. So if I do super HTML check test HTML to see the same messages, but we see other shittier messages. So I guess we now want to make these messages nice. So CLI FMT and check. Or more in general, I think what we want is AST errors to have a nice printing function for themselves, which they do for LSPs, but they don't. Okay, there is a formatter, which is actually not bad. Yeah, I think we should just use the formatter. But we don't have the extra context. So we also want to wire in the extra context. So let's definitely do that. So in check, I guess we could make it an option. You can ask for the extra context directly in there, but you're missing the context though. Let's start with the basic stuff. So where do we print these errors? AST print errors. Oh my god, look at this, disgusting. Truly disgusting. No, you know what? We do want print errors, I think. Okay. For AST errors, get a range for the main location or else std in. And instead of this, I think the last thing can be error itself. Or if not, what is this? Formatter. So FMT. So no, never mind. It's error.fmt. And he wants, I think, source. I don't know if he needs anything else. There's no FMT. No, come on. Oh, tag. And it's an F now. There we go. Invalid attribute for this element, invalid attribute for this element. Invalid attribute combination, rel or item prop must be specified. Invalid attribute combination, href or image source set are required. Invalid nesting under div. The problem though, so here's the problem. For LSPs, this is the type of messages that you want because they are shown in context with the source code. The problem here is that, well, you don't have that. So what you would want here is, you see how this guy shows you the source code. We kind of need to also show the source code. We need to show the stuff around. So basically, we want this. We want to print this, and then we want to print. We want to get the line. So line is line is let's call it location. Location is going to be source r.main location.start. No. Oh shit. So here's the problem. We want the line around this. We want something more complicated than what I was thinking about. Right, I already done this work, so it's annoying. You want to find the line where this range starts, and then you want to print that, and then you want to put carets below it. But it is pretty annoying indeed. It is pretty annoying indeed. I think I need some tea. I think I need to get some tea, and then we can work on this. So here's the problem statement, okay? The problem statement is that we want something like this. So look at this error. So this is what we have. We want to also add this. I don't know, div foo bar buzz. And let's say that we were complaining about foo, so we want to do this. This is what we want to show. So we have our range, our main location covers this. We want to find the line around it. So I guess what we want to do is go backwards from the starting point until we find a new line, go forward until we find a new line. That's going to be our target line. And then we want to trim it. And then we want to trim it. And then we need to compute what this space needs to be and how long this needs to be, although we know how long this is. This is the main location. So we just need, I guess it's 3 steps, right? Find the line around it, trim it, compute spaces. Yeah, and now that, and the fact, I know that I do this somewhere else, but it's so janky what we do in that other code that I want to redo this from scratch to the point where I do this from scratch, like correct once, and then eventually once I circle back to the other place where we do it the wrong way, then we eventually want to substitute that with the new implementation. That sounds like a good plan. Okay, so this is our goal now. Achieve these. So give me a second. I'll go get something to drink, a cup of tea, and then I'll be back. Yeah, you're right. Technically, there's also the very long line case. That is a good point. I think I don't want to implement this for now, but I do think that a fully sophisticated solution should also account for that. I do think, though, that once you start getting there, I would want to consider trying to do something that is domain specific, as in slicing the section of the string, but in a way that is somewhat aware of what it's doing, maybe. So that's why I don't want to tackle it right away. But yeah, totally fair. Okay, let's implement this thing. So how does it work? Like, should we call it print line, print source line, print source line? What do you give me? I give you source. I give you a span, and I give you a writer. Go, child. Do your thing. So print source line. line start is going to be while var idx equals span.start, while idx is it's actually while true. While true, decrease idx idx greater than 0, but that's always true. Now it can go equal to 0. Okay. So while idx is greater than 0, decrease it. And if source at idx is a new line, then we break with idx plus 1. If we don't find any, we say 0. Also, why is this not working? Oh, this. Okay, so this is what we're trying to recreate. So we have line start. Next, we need line end. Now we increase. And we do this while idx is lower than source.len. And if we find a new line, then we break with -1. Otherwise, source.len -1. Actually, no, source.len. Okay, so this is line start, line end. Then we need to trim. First, we need to trim left because we need to know how many spaces we encountered. We could have counted here. We could have said, well, you know what? As we go backwards, if we see a space, we count. And if we see something that is not a space, we reset the count to 0. That is actually pretty clever. Okay, this should have the problem that these two ranges are overlapping, but I'm waiting for Zig to complain about it before I do something about it. Yeah, I know. I just don't. I'm trying to not call. I know that I can call the function, but I'm trying to do everything at once, so that we do it. You know, since we have to scan leftward anyway, we might as well count spaces as we do that. That's what I'm thinking. Of course, we could totally do first trim left, then count the difference for sure. Actually, why do I need line and... I don't think I need a value. Yeah. Okay, so we have the line. Okay, now we need to do the math to print the span correctly. So we need to know where the span is within this range. So we know that the start, so the first like character that we need to place is after hmm hmm what is the architecture concept of your HTML LSP? I don't know how to answer this question. What's the architecture concept? I don't know. I have a parser. I have a tokenizer. I have a parser. I have an LSP client implementation that I didn't write myself. So my main function instantiates one of those LSP, the LSP client, which requires me to pass in some callbacks. They get invoked every time there's a request from the editor, and I put in there an implementation, which involves calling into the AST, well, into the parser, which does produce an AST. Okay, so we basically know that we want to sprint, I guess. Do you have GitHub? I do. It's Christoph-IT. So, for example, this is the repo of the project that I'm working on. Okay, as I was saying, so I guess the question is, what is this guy? So this guy here is, well, we know it's line start plus spaces left, right? So we need to say, we need to now account for how many spaces, how much distance is there between this index and the start of our range. And we need to fill that with spaces. So for 0 dot dot, yeah, span dot start minus line start plus spaces left plus 3, because we put 3 spaces in here. So this should print this many guys. Although I think we have something better now. I should switch to using the new optimized functions in the interface. I think it's w dot splat byte. Yeah. So we put that many spaces, and then we do it again, but this time we splat this byte here for span.end minus span.start. Splat byte all? Oh shit, yes. Thank you. Yep, definitely. Definitely. Okay, so this should be it. This should be the full story. Maybe. We'll see, I guess. But we're not calling it, are we? Try print source line source location. There we go. Duplicate switch value. Okay, so yeah, what's between T, R, and N? So how does that look like? Please give me an ASCII table that doesn't suck ass, please. Where's the new line? Form feed, carriage return, line feed. Space. So let me see the line. It's space, comma, tab to R. Where's tab? Horizontal tab. Line feed. So that's the new line. So it's right after. So it's horizontal tab. And then there's vertical tab. Like, what the fuck is a vertical tab, man? There isn't even a name for a vertical tab, is there? Or do we have it in Sig, actually? Yeah, by the way. So, guys, what do you think? Should we use vertical tabs or vertical spaces? I'm actually interested in hearing your opinion on that one. Well, guess what? We don't even have a symbol for it, so we need something else. I guess we do the hash escape. I don't know, man. Horizontal tab. There's also backspace. There's also backspace character apparently, for some reason. So it would be so instead of /t is /t comma. Oh, we can do it like this. /n. Check this out. Check my ninja ASCII skills. Can't beat this. Haha. Can't beat me. Value of type usize ignored. Right. Hey, X2. Thank you. We're missing a new line, aren't we? Yeah, I get it that you can do it this way, but by the way, terminals also have escape codes. Like, they don't need this shit to be in ASCII. Like the ASCII spec, and I get it. Historically, I guess there was a point in time where they hadn't yet come up with escape codes, maybe, and so somebody decided, you know what, maybe we should stuff this this extra functionality into the ASCII table. Why not? We're already there, so might as well. But still, what a mess. Okay, so we're not doing super great, I think. Actually, you know what? So I don't. So we're wrongly +1. That's how it has to be. Or you know what? It doesn't matter because we can do it afterwards. So let's not do that extra math every time. Let's do it just here. So there we go. We're doing it. The reason why it's weird is because we're doing vertical alignment a bunch. So let's stop doing vertical alignment for a moment and let's see what happens. Now you see that it's normal. Invalid attribute for this element. Invalid attribute combination. So I would say this is better than nothing. Could this stuff be improved further? Absolutely. But still, I would say this is not bad. Does the spec allow for graphene clusters which could have varying visual widths there? The answer is that HTML is UTF-8 Unicode. HTML5 is UTF-8 Unicode. So yes, because it's Unicode, you could have graphene clusters and whatnot. And my CLI would fuck it up for sure. Yes. I would need to have something more sophisticated than this to print the width correctly. Which is, it's the kind of stuff that I do correctly in Borg, but here I'm not doing it correctly yet. But that's a fair point. I could totally do that. Still, I would say this is good enough. Does it also work with FMT? It does. Okay, so how do we make these errors better? Let's do one of those things that are good, like It would be nice to be able to also, I do foo again, and you see how now it's a duplicate attribute name, but we know that this is a duplicate attribute name for this guy. So in theory, we could, in the line where we print this error, we could also point at this guy and say, this is the original. It's kind of a specialty thing, so I think it's fine. I think I'm going to stop here for now. I think this is like a reasonable starting point. Can still be improved, but it's okay. So, show body okay reason for link. So, I don't remember how this works, but in the HTML standard, there are some rules that decide whether a link can be put in the body or not. Depending on, I think a link that has a rel style sheet can be put in the body, otherwise not. If the element is allowed in the body where phrasing content is expected, so what makes it allowed in the body? If it has an item prop attribute or has a rel attribute that contains only keywords that are body okay, such as DNS prefetch, module preload, pingback preload, style sheet. There we go. Style sheet makes it body okay, which means that that link element can be put in the body. By the way, hilariously enough, this really cracks me up. You can put link, so a link style sheet. Let's do this. Come on. Okay, so a link rel style sheet, which loads a CSS style sheet, is allowed in the body, in the HTML, in the body element, like outside of head. But a style element is not allowed in the body. Style elements are only allowed inside of head. And somebody opened an issue for this on the spec, and in the spec authors were saying, well, no, I don't think we should, because for whatever, like because we think that we would lead to a worse experience for users. How? First of all, everybody does this already. So, oh my God. So, first of all, browsers need to process CSS in the body anyway, because you can do this stuff, right? You can do this. So you can already do a bit of styling here. Then you can do links. You can put links in body. But this is not allowed. But browsers support it anyway, because they need to have the machinery in any case. But the spec still doesn't allow it. Anyway. 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 So what do we do next? Oh, but what if we didn't do this? Invalid attribute combination, rel or item prop must be specified. Rel equals author. Invalid nesting under div. Okay, so what I'm saying here is, it would be nice if link told you that right now it's not allowed under div, but we could allow it if only you gave it the right attributes. And right now we're not showing it. To be clear, we do it for other elements. So for example, for meta, I think we do. Invalid nesting under div, missing required attributes, one of name, HTTP, char set, item prop must be specified. Okay, char set. Oh, this also is hilarious. So char set, right? Guess what? Invalid value for this attribute must be UTF-8 case insensitive. It only accepts one value, UTF-8. And it says invalid nesting under div. Okay, you know what? I think I actually do this correctly. It's just that div is a custom element that doesn't support this. Let me do P. Yeah, check it out. I actually implemented this. It's just not wired in for div. So I implemented it for simple elements, but here's the idea. Invalid nesting under P, missing either prop or rel with a body okay value. Meta, invalid nesting under P, missing item prop. So if you give it item prop, then we will allow it under P. So the problem is that div and a div nested under a P, you just cannot do it. So this is a hard error, and that's fine. Actually, let me see how that looks like in the CLI. That looks good. Okay, so how do we do this? We go to div, and somewhere we are checking for things without using model rejects. State DL. Okay, so this is it. This is the thing that I need to change. So this needs to become if div dot model rejects nodes source parent node parent span descendant element descendant runtime model child.model this gives us an optional rejection. If the rejection is present, invalid nesting reason equals rejection reason. Also this okay, and now div should provide us also with this information. Do you have a check to make sure the meta is located within the first 124 bytes? No, I don't know. I don't have that. The char set. So the point is, I'm not doing this because Super HTML is expressively only for UTF-8 HTML5 documents. So I don't care about compatibility with anything that doesn't support that. So yeah. Okay, let me rebuild. Let's start the LSP, change P to a div, and now we have this. Fuck, we have this, but we don't have the link one. How? Why? How did we? Wait, I'm confused. Why are we doing this correctly and not this one? I thought they share the same exact code. Yeah, that thing is. I agree. Or rather, I would say that people have misapplied it at the very least. I think that as a general hand wavy rule, is not inherently that bad, but it's obviously not what you should be aiming for when writing a fucking spec, right? If you're writing an implementation, if you think about it, let me think about it for a second. So there's clearly a value in having tools that are precise. And when your tool isn't precise, then you kind of open the door to like certain forms of jankiness. Certain forms of jankiness. And that said, I don't think that necessarily everything always needs to be maximally restrictive. But for sure, when you're writing a spec, I would say that the more something is infrastructure, the more precise you have to be, because then you build stuff on top. And if your thing is already wobbly at the bottom and you start building on top of it, then of course it's going to be a mess. Yeah. Anyway. So why is model rejects messing with us? So first of all, do I implement link correctly? Yeah. Oh, I think I know why. Oh shit. So check this out. That was on me. So I didn't put these reasons also for flow. I put them only for phrasing, and div happens to look into compatibility with the flow content, not the phrasing content. So that's why it was missing link. And the reason why I was working under P is because P was looking for phrasing, which link does support, and I was providing reasons, but only for phrasing, not for flow. So that was entirely on me. Okay, so, whoops. Done. And I think we can start working on GitHub issue templates. Not bad. Man, I am so not looking forward to this. This is super important because until we get this right, then everything is going to be busted. But boy, do I so not like this. Jesus. 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 You're trying to put HTML tags. So here's the problem. If you put HTML tags in your text, then no HTML tags, then I have no idea. Well, if you put a slash, then those sometimes get picked up as commands. So there's also that. But also you can't put HTML tags in a lot of things because there's, all the browser viewers and weirdo clients that these websites have on legacy devices. They all render stuff as HTML, or at least a good chunk of them. And so, and they don't treat, they don't want diamond bracket stuff, basically. For example, you can't put diamond brackets in YouTube titles at all. Okay, yeah, GitHub issue templates. Let's go. This is gonna be fun. I guess I can steal those from Zig. Should we actually also, should we like push? Really? Oh my God. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, let me see. Those messages were like not even reaching. I don't even see them anywhere in my like dashboard. So they were like stopped very early. Bonkers. Holy shit. Okay. So what we have right now is unfortunately still very broken because of this one. By the way, this is the last blocker. The URL one is the last big blocker. Once we have that in, I mean, we need to do some Q&A. We need to double check that our tests are green again. We need to, well, in theory, we will need also to fuzz. But with this, we're going to be in a pretty cool position, I think. Well, it's not that Twitch hates HTML. Every one of these platforms hates HTML because they have to deal with third-party clients that are like poorly integrated, and so they all have to be. Nobody knows what's going on. They don't even know the spec. They don't have tools that help them with shit. They don't know how parsing of HTML happens. They can't trust implementations to even to do stuff that is even remotely according to the spec. They can't trust the spec, And so they end up all being super defensive and say, you know what, no diamond brackets whatsoever. Anything that looks sus, let's just filter it out. Doesn't the spec say to stop using meta tags? It might. I don't remember precisely, but yes, Meta has a bunch of options that are 100% considered legacy and that are still part of the spec entirely for retrocompatibility purposes. You're not supposed to use them. Also another reason, now that I remember, yes, I remember 100% that they tell you to use HTTP headers, but more precisely, it's not just for char set. It's also for all the other ones. Also the HTTP equiv, which sounds a lot like, oh, look, this tag that you can put in HTML can be used as an alternative way to do to get equivalent behavior as you get from HTTP headers. And some of the things that you can do with HTTP equiv is the type of stuff that you can do with HTTP headers, but then the behavior is always different. So Meta, what are the options for this bad boy? Like content type, default style, refresh. I mean, this all sucks. Add a warning. Maybe for now, I'm mainly focusing on errors. I'm fine with adding more warnings in the future, but for now I'm trying to be conservative with them. I believe that the only warnings that I have so far are 2. So look at this. Okay, so I have also, this is another thing that I implemented on my own a few days ago, not while streaming. So the idea is this. There are 2 ways in which Super HTML works by default. One is that if you have any element at the top, then I will assume that the file is a file that contains like an HTML fragment. And so I don't care about like the top level structure. But if you put a doc type, then I tell you, well, okay, you can put a doc type, but then if you do that, then you have to have a top level HTML element. So basically by doing this, you opt into proper structure. And here you can see that here's the warning, unsupported doc type. I tell you that Super HTML only supports the HTML doc type. And so you fix that. And now it's telling you you're missing body and head, blah, blah, blah. So that's one warning. And the other warning that I have is duplicated classes. And duplicated classes are warnings and not errors because the class attribute is defined not as unique. So classes are not required to be unique by the HTML spec. They can be duplicated, which is very interesting because the HTML spec has plenty of attributes that are space-separated tokens that are required to be unique, but they didn't do that for class. For class, they purposely allowed duplicates. Although duplicates clearly are, I don't know, silly, so I mark them as warnings. Okay, we're doing the GitHub stuff, right? Hi, I'm stopping by briefly to say thank you for building the only HTML formatter I've been able to find that doesn't choke on unquoted attribute values with slashes in them. You're welcome. All I did was follow the spec. So interesting that other formatters put themselves in that case. I actually haven't really tested this on purpose. So slashes of this kind, right? Yeah. Yeah, so be patient because I'm about to release the new version, which is going to be much better than whatever I've released up until now. We just need to fix this stuff, basically. So I want to do the GitHub issue templates, but the thing is, we would have to push them to master branch, well, main branch. But this work is still on a separate branch. I haven't merged it into main yet. And to merge it into main, we at the very least need this. So I can do this work, but I can't really try it out much. But still, you know what? We can still make progress even if we can't test it like live. And that's fine. Although that said, I guess we can put it in the soup. This is going to be one chunky boy commit, that's for sure. So might as well toss it in the soup. So I don't have any issue template, so let's steal some. Fuck, it copied everything in here. Oh well. Mkdir issue template. Move start.yaml in issue template. Bug config error message. Okay, so mine will have to be different. So crash / hang report description report super HTML crashing or hanging. Crash hang, type markdown attributes. Let's see, type markdown attributes, value, pipe, type input ID version, attributes sig version. Do I even have versions? I do. Let's see, repro. Okay, I think that for this one, we can just take repro and move it here up top. And we don't need this. Well, like for a crash, we need, okay, how did you make it crash or hang? What version was it? That's it. Actually, I would put the version up top. So here's the version. Okay. So this one is easy. Okay, the next one is going to be more complicated. Contact links. Oh, interesting. I don't know what that does. Error message. Okay, so this is the one, the another one. Okay, so how does this work? So this is missing or wrong HTML error. Report super. What did we write in the other one? Report super HTML. Labels. Diagnostic. Version. Yeah, we also need to say the VS Code. Somebody might be using this via VS Code and they don't even have the CLI. Actually, why? Okay, so input. Then we need some markdown, I think. Do we need the platform? I think that we don't need the platform in this case. Okay, markdown ID. I don't know, report. Okay, so here we want people to explain the problem. And this is where we also need to tell them that they need to reference the HTML spec. No, I wouldn't require necessarily a link because sometimes people might need to explain themselves a little bit more. So, or rather, you know what? It wouldn't be necessarily that wrong, but I think it's fine. Um, right. It's this silly thing. Actually, you know what? Steps to reproduce the behavior. You know what? We should split this into what am I doing? I'm squeezing everything into one thing, but it doesn't have to be this way. So we can do it this way. Okay, expected output according to the HTML spec. Mm, okay, so we have crashes, we have errors. I guess we want maybe a category for auto formatting. Well, I guess we want some for like everything else. But I think as a starting point, this is not bad. I just wish I knew what this thing is. What does config do? But I don't think it does anything particularly interesting for us. Um, Okay. I think this is not enough by itself. There's more work to do, but it's a starting point. For example, I probably also want a no LLMs link, I guess. Also, well, this is a starting point. In any case, I'm not pushing yet, so let's consider this done. Okay, now we have doc type parsing and URL stuff parsing. This one we can leave down here because it's less important actually. No, it's easy, but I'm deprioritizing it. Okay, we need to get this. If we get this, we are on the runway for publishing, basically. Now, I've been using URI parse, and URI parse is not exactly what we want, unfortunately. I think it's close to, but it's not quite there. This actually is not compliant. Parse after scheme. Oh. The terminal will contain string pointers to the original text. Each component that is provided will be non-null. So scheme equals scheme. Oh, interesting. And then text. Parse after scheme, huh? Maybe that's what we want. So parse, what does parse do? It's searching for a scheme character, the colon. Oh no, it's skipping characters that might be in the scheme. And then does parse after scheme. I guess we want this logic ourselves, but instead of reporting an error, we say, well, maybe this wasn't a scheme after all, and this URL is schemaless. Resolve in place. Okay, I think they basically want our version of parse. So let's copy this. It's going to attribute. Function parse URI. And maybe in the future we can give it more stuff. Okay, so There we go. Oh, this was it? Really? Okay, let's see how we do. Oh, of course, this function is not public. Okay. Invalid nesting under TD. I think this is my mistake. So this is an auditing thing that I need to do. This accepts flow content, but flow content also includes text. And we're not validating this correctly. That's fine. Does TD have its own child validation? No, it does not. Oh, that's actually pretty delightful because that means wait a second, did I fuck it up? TD, content model flow content. Well, there you go. Here's the problem. Only 3 errors now. And it's entirely us not recognizing ARIA elements. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. So, holy shit. This is working. I mean, in this case, it's not really reporting much. So it's maybe technically working, but also not that interesting because the only errors that it's reporting are not errors with the text. So let's go to, I don't know, Christoph IT. I suspect that I might have made more mistakes in here. There we go. What's going on? Invalid value for this attribute. Oh shit, really? Oh yeah. Non-standard method name. What do you mean? It also supports those. Oh, but then we complain. Okay. Let's fix that. So for now, that's what we have. Invalid value for this attribute. Oh no. Oh no, the fucking edge crap. Meta property. Valid attribute for this element. These are like the silly stuff that you copy paste so that your stuff shows up on social media. And I bet you that I didn't came up with property myself. I guess this should be name instead of property. But why was the thing that I copied it from suggesting that I should use property? Jesus. Style under div. You know what? I think that I will allow style in the body. It's not spec compliant, but man, this is so fucking stupid. That's it. So these are all the errors that I have in my homepage. Okay, let's see another page. Blog post. Oh, you see that one? Oh, do you see that one? That's a duplicate class, is it? No. Oh, never mind. That's another LSP that I have that gives me warnings for thingies. Invalid nesting under P. Oh, I have a figure under AP. God damn it, man. Well, we gotta fix that. Oh, we totally gotta fix that, huh? Cross origin. Missing attribute value. So I guess cross origin. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what these guys say. Cross origin. No, it's in link. Course. Nope. It does not allow. It does not fucking allow being empty. Although it does say missing value default is the no course state, which is a different state than these other ones. Oh my god. Fine. What are the options? Missing. Okay. Yeah, what about the property in meta? Who hallucinated that one? So metadata content, meta. There's no property. Like, there's no property listed in here. Who's meta name? Did I completely? I think I don't know. Did I completely hallucinate that property shit? So I guess that property thing was wrong all along. I had it for years. I had this meta property stuff for years and never realized that was wrong. And I don't know what suggested it. Property being a global attribute might be, but I don't think so. Let's double check. I don't think so though. No property. Let's see. HTML property attribute. No. I think somebody copy pasted that wrong somewhere, and then in turn I copy pasted it wrong, and then a ton of people just copy pasted it wrong off of one another in an endless chain of ignorance. Specifically, those things here. Those come from, I believe, open graph stuff. So let's see, HTML meta open graph. Where did I copy this from? Oh, wait, I know why. I think I know why. So you see how this example is, this is not HTML. This is like I don't know, XHTML. They're doing some weirdo XML shit somewhere in it. So maybe that's why they fuck up meta this way. What is going on? They have all the weirdo meta property shit, but they also have the Open Graph Protocol schema added to HTML. What am I even supposed to do at this point? What am I even supposed to do at this point? So let's add XUA compatible to the list of bullshit things that you can put in HTTP Equiv. Let's see what MDN has to say about this, because I'm so tempted to write something not kind there. Meta name viewport. Okay, so the custom names we're just failing to account for somehow. Name. Not empty. Why is not empty causing issues? Do I have custom code that deals with this? Oh yeah, I do, don't I? And I bet you that I just don't honor what I wrote there. Name value. I try rule match. Not empty. Missing, missing, or empty. Um, yeah, this is clearly wrong. Oh, Jesus. Okay, we need a switch. So missing or empty means that it can be missing or empty. So missing should be unreachable. We shouldn't get in here if it's if item is not present. Missing or empty. What are actually possible matches? I guess we can do custom. Not empty. Oh my god. Okay, so my brain is melting. Oh man. I need more tea. So we tried to validate it. We tried to find it in the list and we failed. If it's I think this line above is like just causing trouble for me. Let's assume that this is not present. So we get in here. So we fail to match the list and this is none. Extra is none. So we do nothing because we want to print this error and then we return no match. Okay. This is not empty. Well, okay. Is it empty? If it's empty, then we want to complain. Otherwise, I guess we can do this. If item.len greater than 0, then return dot empty. Or rather, no, not. Let's just say custom. Missing manual can be missing, or manual that should be unreachable. Let me put them up top. Missing or empty. If it's missing or empty, then either way it's fine. Oh, but we do want to do this. There we go. Okay, I think I finally fixed it. Okay, and now we are down to pretty much complaining only about meta property. Bro, I don't know what to say, honestly, about this. I guess we could from the perspective of practicality, we could just allow it. Like we could add it manually. Because there are going to be people that are doing this in practice. So we shouldn't break that. I'm not doing this strictly because I'm doing it, but it's something that people reasonably might want to do, which is support Open Graph and not only support the fucking Twitter stuff. So, we shouldn't break people's escape from Twitter because we don't deal with property. I guess we can add it in a hacky way in the beginning, and then in the future, if we find a way we understand exactly what the semantics are for this thing, then we can do it in the future. Although I fear that the problem is that it's going to be that, well, if you want to know if property is going to be part of the schema or not, you have to look into the schema declarations here in the HTML tag, grab those DTs, and then look if the DT specifies a property editor. Like, fuck all of that. Of course, I'm not going to do that. So let's go to meta. And let's add property as an attribute. And we probably want to set it not empty. Yeah, it's just, but the problem is that this completely breaks this fucking thing. Why are these people like this? Like, how are you supposed to do the Open Graph correctly then? Okay, let's see if ChatGPT knows about this. I bet you that it's gonna hallucinate the fuck out of this thing. In HTML, the meta tag is used, the meta element. Mogambro, thank you for the raid. Hello, everybody. Properties of the of HTML documents. Normally, this is done via the combination of name and content attributes. But Open Graph says to use property instead of name. Find a quote that explains if it's possible to use name anyway or not. The property attribute instead of the name and the content value of the property attribute is not defined in official specification, but it is widely supported by applications that support the Open Graph protocol. This clearly says OG meta tags use property instead of name, and the property attribute is not part of the HTML spec, not internally defined by HTML. Yeah. But it's adopted via RFDA or other extensions. God damn it, man. Oh man. Okay, let me catch up with chat. Yeah, why are you like this? I don't know. Why are they like this? I would like to build a web application that can show several reports, which I've been preparing in Excel every day. I'm trying to automate it and show the report in a browser so that every day the repeat activity is eliminated. I just need to upload 4 CSV files as input and I need the results. To do this, I was originally planning to build a web server and an HTML along with some JavaScript to render the output. But since the Zeta version 16 is already here, I would like to use the latest implementation. Please get me to some good reference materials. Chantil, it's a little bit too early. There is no reference materials because the HTTP stuff in Zig in dev is not yet like usable enough. Yeah, you need a bit more patience. Let's say 1 or 2 months from now, more or less. That's my rough estimate. There are bugs in the HTTP client that are breaking and they still need to be fixed. So, and also the new async IO stuff is not out yet. And then in your case, well, I don't know precisely what it is you want to do, or rather, I understand the use case, but I don't know, to what degree you want a, easy way to make this happen, or you're willing to do more work to make it happen, but you have to do, almost everything yourself. So if it's not a situation where you want to purposely do everything yourself, which I mean, the way that you describe this makes me suspect that you just want this to be done and so that you can move on with your life and be more productive. In that case, I would say it's really still too early. You also probably would want somebody to write like a framework around this stuff so that you can do it more easily. Zig has some HTTP frameworks which you can use today, and I guess when async IO comes out, they will update, and so you will be able to use a new version of those frameworks and not have to do a ton of work yourself. But yeah, it's a little bit early, maybe. So yeah, I want to use it mainly for learning Zig. Okay, then if you want to use it mainly for learning Zig, then go for it, but you still will have to wait a little bit more. This stuff is right now a little bit too broken. So the IO stuff, here's my suggestion. Be patient. I will probably stream some IO, some async IO work as soon as it becomes usable enough. I have some projects that use, they do networking that I will need to update, like Borg here. And I also plan to make new ones. For people who have read Zig.news, I don't know if you know or remember, but I kind of shut down Zig.news because, I mean, it's still up, but you can't post new stuff to it because it was being overrun by spam. And I want to change it. I want to change Zig.news to become a link aggregator. And so, I'm also going to do that work. You already did it with async await demo branch. Okay. I have a hard time uploading some CSV files. I see. I still think you should wait a little bit more because there's plenty of bugs. Also, does async await demo? I think that branch doesn't have async IO networking yet fully. I don't know if Andrew merged the async networking yet, but Chantil, I am fairly confident that as you try to make it work, you will hit a bug in the standard library, and that will be a showstopper. So, yeah, just wait a little bit more. And as you wait a little bit more, you will also see learning resources pop out. Just wait October. That's my heartfelt recommendation. But we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. Okay, so what am I supposed to do here with meta and property? I don't know, man. I really don't know. If you like, I can track whether major OG consumers actually accept name OG as a fallback to see what works in practice. Do you want that? Wait, how would this thing be able to do that? I think ChatGPT is hallucinating capabilities that it doesn't have. How would you test this? I don't think you can. Okay, so it's suggesting that I do that, which is fair. Yeah. Oh, you have to log in. Yeah, fuck that. Okay, I don't know what to do. I guess we can add it to the list of allowed attributes, and we can tweak the rule to say, yeah, if it property has to be there. You know what? Let's extend this, I guess. Uh, Did I fuck it up? Oh, I was doing something dumb. That it's this else. Okay. Else if has item prop. Okay, I guess I want another one of these ones. Okay. So I have this problem. I have a figure nested inside of AP, so that's a bad. That's a bad for sure. But you know, that's on me. That's my blog. So in general, it seems that we're good. So we have this about blank in iframe. Do we recognize about blank as a? Oh no, no, please! I didn't mean it. Good sir. Okay, do we allow this stuff? Yes, it's recognized as a link. So base cannot have this in href. Okay, so this is fine. Allow list value in iframe. Oh. Oh. In iframe allow. Validate allow. Let's see how we do it. Policy directive. Okay, I don't know about that. You know what? This is turning into a to-do for the future. Node.js data for href in base. Good old base. Maybe my favorite attribute, element. It's truly delightful. So href validation, let's see. URL can be empty. Base URL to be blah, 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 blah. Absolute and URL and relative URLs are allowed. Data colon and JavaScript URLs are not allowed. So I'm even allowing it empty. Is this correct? Let's go take a look at base. So no, actually empty is not okay. But then there's also extra rules. So it can't even be a URL. I guess we want Node.js data or something, or we want custom in this case. Honestly, doing a custom wouldn't be bad. Scheme is not even optional. Fuck. Okay. Okay, let's test these errors. The scheme not allowed. Data scheme not allowed. We have it. Incredible. That was actually it. That was actually the big one. So with this, we are really in a pretty good position. Okay, I guess the next question is: do we need to we are broken. We call validate nesting. Invalidate nesting if language is not HTML, we return. That sounds good, but this means that we already have done a bunch of stuff with these guys, and these guys have a temporary thingy. I guess that should be fine. Basically, I want to see if this works with Super HTML, because the last time I tried, it was kind of broken. So, I mean, actual Super HTML templates. So let's go to Zig.day, for example. Let's take a look at the layouts. And yeah, server immediately pooped itself. What happened? We panicked in ast.init, but we can't see why. Why, man? What did I do to you? Extend. No, I do build in debug mode, but it still fails to print my stack trace. There is something borked. Oh, you're right. To do. We're hitting a big to do. Oh shit. I don't think that's the one that we're hitting. I think this is the one that we're hitting. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, I see. We're just doing validation. So I guess we could do the same for Super HTML. Recognize everything as underscores. What happens to our autocompletion? Yeah, we don't autocomplete anything. Wait, do we auto format? Oh shit. No, we totally pooped ourselves. Yeah, look, we totally pooped ourselves. Wait, I did build. We might be eating another to do or something. Yeah. Missing end tag. Oh no. Never mind. We need to do something better, huh? Than this. Let's do it this way. And also the other one. Not about the HTML element. Ouch. Invalid attribute for this element. Yeah. So, okay. So now we're basically doing this. That sucks. Kinds.get. Yeah, because here we are basically skipping everything before A. Okay, I'm trying to think how to do this because so the point is, I'm fine with having this stuff disabled for Super HTML. Super HTML would require a ton more work. It's more complicated. Everything is parameterized, so it's a mess. Long story short, um, my point, I guess, is that in Super HTML we don't want to complain. Okay, let me read how we do this stuff in here. So kinds switch blah blah blah. Wait, where do we get this thing? Start self start. Cancel get name. Okay, we try to get the thing. And if we fail, I guess we want it to be this way, maybe. Maybe we try to get, we have a dedicated one, like a Super HTML map. Hmm. Maybe it's time to remove this. Like, what if I move these guys here and we start from this guy plus one? The problem is if we are in HTML mode, we don't want to match these guys. So how do we do this? I think we instead of messing with this, I think we really want to have something different then. Let's do it this way. Okay, I don't think we need to copy paste all of this in here. Okay, let's see how this goes. Found void. Right, because we need an else. Okay. So this works, but now um now the closing tag. Oh no, wait. No, wait. Oh god. Else, this is not this. Else we do this. Here we go. Oh no, but then it gets fucked up. Shit. But I do want to go there. Fuck. But I think it's fine. Okay, this is completely half-assed. But it's better. So now we only complain about funky templates. Also, what is this indentation? Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so we're making progress, just not a ton. Let's just put it this way. Just not a ton. Although, I mean, so for extend, we just need to make an element, an extend element. So if we make an element for these, each of these guys, then we gain the ability to define attributes on them. But then our global attributes need also to gain a few entries that weren't there before. Huh. Well, this is part of the work to make this not broken completely with super HTML elements, documents. So there's more work to be done here, but we're not bad. Honestly, I think we're pretty much ready to push at this point. I do want to fix this, but I guess my point is that I think next stream I think we can go live, because we need to add this stuff to GitHub. We need to we need to add elements to these guys. Maybe they should even go into a separate directory. But that's it. Okay, not bad. I think I need some time to think this through on my own, not on stream. To make sure that basically this stuff works not super well, but like at least reasonably well with Super HTML. And I think at that point we're good. Yeah. It does sound good. Okay. So I think I'm going to call it a day. This is going to be it. Thank you all for hanging out. And yeah, we're pretty much there. So it's actually, it's not 116. I think the real number then in the end, once we factor in Super HTML, is 120. 120 is the final number. But we're pretty much there. It's these 4 guys plus a 5th guy down below. So yeah, thank you all for hanging out. Let me see if anybody's doing Zig. Nope. I don't see Toggle live, so I'm gonna call it a day. I'm a little bit tired, sorry. Yeah, not much to go. We're really pretty much there. I mean, plus just wait the bug fixing once we go live with this, because I feel like there's gonna be like a ton of surprises once people try it out in the wild. But we're there.